Hey, you see this? This is my 2013 Specialized Allay Elite road bike. This has been a really killer bike for me. It's great for any rider who's just like me, likes to bomb hills and eat baguettes in that order. But there's one thing that it's missing, and that's a good paint job. And that's what we're gonna be doing today, is we're gonna be giving this a makeover and make it metal. But no, seriously, like actual metal. Strip it down to the metal, except for the fork. That's carbon. Let's get to it. All right, so bike's up in the stand here. And before we can strip the paint, well, we gotta strip the parts. So let's get this bike down to the frame. Done.
So first I did do a little bit of sanding with a coarse grit sandpaper just to take off the finish so that this paint stripper had less hardened material to get through. This whole process only took about 5 minutes, so I think it was worth it.
All right, so now the parts are stripped, finish has been sanded down a bit, and the paint is ready to be stripped now. And for that, I'm using this Clean Strip brand aerosol paint stripper that you can get from the Home Depot. Now, it being an aerosol means that it's going to get everywhere and it's good for absolutely nothing, so we need to protect ourselves. So, you're going to want to wear some gloves, a respirator, and of course, safety glasses. Because safety first and second. Okay, so when you're applying this paint thinner, you just, of course, look at everything, shake it up really nicely, and then shoot directly onto the frame, making sure that you give a really nice, generous coat along the whole entire thing. And then we're gonna do something a little bit different here, and we're gonna wrap the entire frame in saran wrap to really seal in the flavor, really let that paint stripper marinate on this frame. And then we're gonna come back in about 30 minutes to an hour and check on it and see how it's progressing. So put that to the side and move on to the carbon fork and get that ready for paint.
To prep the fork, just cleaned it off and then sanded it with 320 grit sandpaper so that the paint had a good surface to adhere to, and then taped off any areas where I didn't want paint to apply, and then just shot it with 3 to 4 coats of flat black spray paint. And damn, this fork in black is looking a hell of a lot better than that stock color. And then from there, I used a 2-part catalyzed clear coat, hit that with about 5 to 6 coats, and then let it sit for 2 days to cure. Now let's check on the frame.
Okay, so it's been about 45 minutes to an hour of leaving this paint stripper on, so we're gonna pull the saran wrap off and take a look at the results. Okay, so this really took a lot of the paint off, as you can see. Looking pretty good. Didn't get everything off, so we're gonna do a second coat of it and let it sit for longer. So we'll do that and see how those results look. So here we are. It's 3 days, 3 coats of paint stripper, and 0 changes of clothes later, and this is the result. And I gotta say, it is looking pretty freaking sick. It was a really easy process. That paint stripper really pulled this paint off like it was nothing. And I am stoked on how it's looking. There's one thing I gotta complain about though, it is that when we were pulling some of the paint off, we were using wire brushes, and one of the brushes we were using was a stainless steel brush. So it really kind of like polished up and marked up the areas we used it on a little bit differently. So if you're gonna use a brush to help you out, make sure that the bristle material is softer than the frame material. So at this point, I had really debated on doing like a catalyzed 2-part clear coat to protect this frame, but because it's raw aluminum, the clear coat wouldn't stick without a ton of prep work, including like etching primer, and I just don't feel like going through all that. So I did a lot of research, and it turns out that raw aluminum left to its own devices will naturally oxidize and create a really nice, strong surface and protective layer on the frame itself. So that's what I'm gonna do. Now, I'm keeping it looking like this because I'm trying to make this bike look kind of dingy and metal as f. But if you wanted to, this would be a good time to go ahead and polish it up with some various strengths of steel wool and polishing compounds. I'm not doing that. I just want to build the damn thing. Let's get to building. Okay, well, since the frame has a new look, I'm also going to refresh it with some new parts. And the parts in question are all of these Amazon off-brand carbon and carbon-looking contact points and drivetrain components, including these carbon wheels. I'm going with these parts because nothing says metal like cheap prices, high risk of tearing themselves apart, and ending up with carbon splinters in your face. So yeah, let's build. Alright, so the bike's done. Just time for that final touch. Little eat trash, hail Satan. I don't actually hail Satan, but I do eat trash. You know, I do prescribe to that no gods, no masters philosophy. Bam! Sick. Bam. Well, there it is. Bike's done. I think it looks sick. Looks metal as hell. This was a super satisfying and relatively easy project, and it's something you could easily do over a weekend. So yeah, all that's really left to do is ride the bike now and ride the piss out of it. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like it, comment, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. If you have any questions, anything like that, just leave them in the comments. Be stoked to hear from you. And anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. I'm gonna go ride this thing. So let's cue the bikes in the metal.